My name is Maya and welcome to the episode 48 of my knitting podcast where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 25th of March 2025 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. I am back early from my holidays. It's not April yet and I'm filming this. I went on holidays, but it was just cut short because of very bad weather. Whatever. I have a ton of stuff to talk to you about because I knitted a lot on holidays and I just have a lot of stuff. So I'll try to go to the essential and not ramble too much, but we will see how it goes. And I'm gonna have 4 works in progress, no finished objects, no acquisitions, and some future plans if we have the time, and I will quickly tell you about my holidays as well as some future plans in life and knitting and climbing and all of that. So let's get into it right away. First, what I'm wearing is the No Frills Sweater by Petite Knit, and it's my only Petite Knit garment I own, and I knit this. It was summer 2021, so almost 4 years ago. It was one of my very first sweaters and I used Nutiden for the first time. So it's a white Nutiden like they do quite often. This one is Ornithogalum. I'm saying that in a very French way, but yeah, the name is probably pronounced in a very Swedish way that I cannot do, so sorry for that. And I held it single with one strand of white mohair. I don't remember what it was, probably Rowan or something that I could find at my local yarn shop. I don't remember what it was, it doesn't matter, it's just a white mohair. So I held them together and the fabric is absolutely lovely. It's very soft when I touch it with my hands and it's just a great, it looks amazing. But I discovered mohair is itchy. It was my first time knitting with it and it's like, I'm probably not gonna do the whole episode wearing this because it's too itchy. And I don't like the fit because the no frills is, as the name suggests, a sweater that has no frills in the pattern, so it's just a straight raglan, which means even if they are short rows in the neckline is coming way too high. It's touching my neck, my throat, and especially with the itchy mohair, this is unbearable. I just can't. I would like it to be like this. That would be comfortable. That would be a nicely shaped sweater. But it's not. It's like that and it's... I just can't. So I never wear it because of that. I have no idea what size I made. I have no idea about the needles I used. It was too long ago. I wasn't really taking notes of what I was doing back then. And I also have bad memories associated with it because when I was knitting it, some complicated stuff was happening and it's just really linked together, and every time I see this sweater I think about those things that happened and I don't want to, so yeah, there's really no reason for me to wear this apart from the fact that it looks nice, but yeah, no. And I also, it's funny because since it was one of my very first sweaters, I remember I struggled so much with so many easy stuff. Like the cast-on is very bumpy and not... If you look closely, it's really not nice. I don't like it. And same for the... I think, yeah, when I did the Italian binder for the body, I couldn't do the 4 steps in the right order and I was always forgetting one, and then the motif got offset by 1 stitch, so you had the... Yeah, it just doesn't look good because it's offset sometimes and then it goes back to correct. I don't know if you can really see, but here it's correct and here it's not, and you have the pearl bumps above the knit columns. Yeah, no idea if you could see that, but it doesn't look good at all. And I really struggled, and I also didn't do a super great job with the short rows. Maybe all of this is just in my head and you cannot see anything I'm talking about, but I just know there are so many mistakes in this sweater. And I also remember when I knit the sleeves, I discovered that my tension is an absolute mess because I knit the first sleeve, I think on, let's say it was, I don't remember what it was, but let's say it was 3mm needles, probably not, 3.5, and I had a certain gauge, and I knit the second sleeve during the same day at the same time because it was going pretty fast with the big gauge. It was probably bigger than 3.5mm. And when I knit a lot, and it was summer, it was super hot, and this mohair plus Nutiden was getting my hands very moist and wet because I was sweating because of the heat. And my gauge just tightened up so much, and what I remember is my gauge on the first sleeve was like 22 stitches, and on the second one it was like 24 because I got so much tighter and I couldn't fit my arm through anymore, so I had to unravel the whole sleeve, which was funny with the mohair and the Nutiden, and I had to knit it again, and I didn't change the needles. I used the same needles and my gauge went from 24 stitches to 20. Using the same needles. It was a small circumference needle, knitting the same sleeve with the same yarn on the same day, 24 stitches to 20. Because I just decided to knit looser, and I really knit looser, and yeah, there is a huge difference. You probably cannot see if I don't tell you, but yeah, in one sleeve there is a certain amount of ease, and on the other one there's a ton more. This looks awful. So yeah, I just don't like it. I can feel it when I wear it, and that's a lot of bad things about this sweater. But other than that, when you just look at it like this, it looks fine. But yeah, anyway, I never wear it because of all of that, which is a shame. But it's like a souvenir of all the troubles I had when I was first knitting sweaters. So I'm still hanging on to it, but one day I'm probably gonna get rid of it. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing, and I also have a knit underneath, but I know I'm gonna take this off eventually, so I will keep that for later. Oh, and I'm also wearing this in my hair, which is something I did with the leftovers of this sweater, so it's using the same yarns. I don't know if you can tell what this is. It's just a ribbon, and it has a little bit of, it's a tube, so it's a ribbon but a tube. And I knit it from tip to tip, so I did increases at one side, then I knit straight, then I did decreases, then I knit straight, increases, straight, decreases. And it has this... it has some shaping. It's cute, it's fun. Whatever. For my first work in progress, it fits in this bag, which is pretty impressive because this is the Tonight Top by Lily Kate France, but I'm making it into a dress. So it's actually huge. It's almost done. So the top is done, I have finished the neckline, and I have added the double knit edgings to the sleeves. And I have knit through most of the body, and if I put it on, it gets to, this is my hip, it gets to about mid hip. So yeah, almost done. And the yarn I'm using is Woolberry Fiber Company Berry Merino, which is a superwash fingering weight 100% merino wool in the colorway Frost that I absolutely adore. I have so many skeins of this, and yeah, I've always wanted a dress with this type of like straight sleeveless design and a tight collar, so this was the perfect pattern for that. And I got the pattern for free because I tested something for Lily Kate, and you receive 2 patterns when you test for her, and this is one of the patterns I received, so I didn't pay for that. And this is size 2 on 3.25mm. I think the suggested needles are 3. Yes. And this is my third skein. I have one left, one intact skein down here that I haven't started, but I think I will only use 3, which is wild because I was sure I would run out of yarn before getting to the bottom, but this is more than enough to finish the body. So that's interesting, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the extra skein. I'm super annoyed about that. Whatever. The modifications I didn't do a lot. I just, as I mentioned last time, I added a length to the back panel and the front panel. I added 6 centimeters total, that's a little bit above 2 inches. And I added 4 centimeters to the back and 2 to the front. Am I even? Yes. 4 centimeters to the back and 2 to the front, so that the back would be 2 centimeters longer than the front, and that makes 6 total. Because I know I tend to knit bigger armholes in general, and I know I need more length to the back, so I just did that. I took some pictures when I had added the first double knit edge to one of the armholes. So on one picture you can see what it looked like before. It was coming to below my boobs, so yeah, the opening was really low, and I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew I had to trust the process, because I know when you add this kind of double knit edge, it really sucks up the fabric a lot, so I knew I had to continue with that. And I'm glad I did, because now the opening is the perfect size. I took the picture after, and it's like absolutely perfect. It doesn't go too high nor too low. It's spot on what I wanted, and I'm so happy. It's not blocked yet, so it might stretch out a tiny bit because it's a superwash yarn. But even if it does, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. I should put it on to talk to you about it. So coming back. Okay, so this is what it looks like on unblocked again, and I'm not 100% happy about it, but I come back to that later. So as I mentioned, the length is coming down to, oh, it's down to my crotch now. If I stand up like this, I'm gonna take this up to the max. And yeah, the length is down here, and when blocked it's probably gonna stretch out like this. So I don't have a lot left to go. I want to go to mid-thigh. So yeah, probably, oof, I'm almost done. I'm gonna have way too much yarn. Anyway, for the body I did some increases, so I'm supposed to have, I don't remember, not a lot of ease at the bust. I think 0 ease, or maybe 5 centimeters, I don't remember. And my hips are wider, so I needed some increases. And I just completely winged it, and I decided to go for 4 increases every 10 rows, so 2 at each underarm, and it's perfect. I have a little bit of ease around my hips, but not too much, and that's exactly the fit I wanted. And I just hope when I sit down it's not gonna stretch out the fabric too much, but I still have a, I lost a stitch, no. I still have a little bit of room like this, so I think it should be fine. It shouldn't overstretch when I sit down. So we're good. Okay, the thing I don't really like about the neckline is the neckline. I don't really like the ribbing. It's coming out of nowhere, I think. And because this is all very sleek and smooth stockinette without any texture or anything, and then suddenly you have ribbing. I don't really like ribbing. If you've been here for any amount of time, you know that I often swap out ribbings for something else, usually stockinette. I'm just not a fan. I made it a little bit shorter because I want this dress to be... I won't wear it in the dead of summer because it's too hot for something like this, but from basically March to October, minus July and August. So I did it a little bit shorter than in the pattern. It's supposed to go down here, which would probably look better, but then I really wouldn't be able to wear it where it's a little bit too hot outside, which is most of the time here. So yeah, I just don't like it. I just don't like the way it looks. And also, the thing is, I'm knitting this because I want to mimic a dress that I saw on a friend of mine so many years ago. I think it was maybe 10 years ago. She was wearing a dress and it was like instant crush on this dress. It's just so beautiful. Just, I love the style so much. And it was a dress like that, so sleeveless, straight, kind of halter style. It was maybe coming a little bit more inside like this. Maybe closer to this, yes. And it had a high neckline like this, except it was smooth texture. If I had to describe it in knitting terms, it would have been double knit like this. It looked exactly like this. So I don't know why I did this, because it's not what I wanted. I think I just wanted to follow the pattern and see how it looked, and I don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is rip back the ribbing neckline thing, and I will just do double knitting here. But here the double knitting is made in this direction, so following the armhole, and you knit one stitch from the pickup every time you do 2 rows of double knitting. But here I will do in this direction, and then I will do an Italian bind off. So I think it will look a lot better. I also think this is coming a little bit wider than I wanted, but it's fine. I'm just gonna get used to it. It's okay. It's not bothering me too much. I think like this, it's gonna be so much better, and also just so much what I initially wanted. And regarding the armholes, yes, perfect depth. When I have my arm down, it's not touching my armpit at all, and even if it stretches out a little bit, I'm fine. As you can see, I don't wear bras, so I really don't have anything to hide here. So yeah, I'm really happy about this. I'm just super excited to have it finally done, so that I can wear it. After so many years, almost 10 years of wanting this dress, I'm finally making my own. I'm just so excited. Yeah, no. I'm not putting the sweater back, it's too hot and too itchy and too everything. So this is a self-drafted camisole I did last summer, and I used Lino by BC Yarn, so it's 100% linen yarn. It's beautiful, I really love the drape, and I had also increases at the underarms, but much more like rapid. I think I did them every 6 rows or something, so that it has a kind of an A-line shape. And yeah, I just wanted this to happen because I think it's very cute. Okay. There is no pattern for this, it was just self-drafted. However, stay tuned and come back for the next episode if you want to see more of this, because I have plans. Okay, next work in progress is a design of mine. It's the Melon Sweater, but short sleeve version, and I did a lot. I cast this on when I went on holidays, and I took 2 projects with me. I took the dress, which was perfect in the round, mindless stockinette knitting, and I took this one, which is a lot more involved, especially because I had to do the short rows. I mean the cast on, the short rows, and then the increases, the yoke, the separation for sleeve, all of that during the holidays. So yeah, involved project, easy project. And this one is knit using Add Gifted Yarn. It's my first time saying that, I love it. From Explore Knits and Fibers, and this is the base Earthy sock in the colorway. The main color, the top one, is Muckross, and the contrast color beneath is Earth. It's gorgeous. I love them so much. So I have them here. So Earth is the brown one, and Muckross is this one. As you can see, I'm almost done with this ball, but I have another one waiting for me here. This is, as you can probably tell, completely out of my usual color palette. I love cool shades and dark and intense shade, unlike this suggests. I also wanted to try something different for this one. Yeah, but I generally like cool shades, and this is very earthy and warm and muted, but I love it. It's beautiful. It gives such a different vibe. I'll probably put a picture of the first sample I did, which is my usual color palette. But this one is so gorgeous. And as I mentioned, I think I suit warm tones better, so I think this is gonna suit me the best. So I'm glad I did this collab with the Explorer Knits and that Ali chose the colors for me, because I would never have chosen this, but I'm so happy about it. It's gonna be amazing. So as I mentioned, this is the short sleeves version, so I'm gonna knit the sleeves to about here, I think. And yes, it means it's almost done, because the body, it's cropped, but not too cropped either. Ah, I'm catched in the needle. So I think it's gonna be, I have this much more to go or something, and then the neckline, the short sleeves, and it's done. So actually I wanted to finish it today, but then I realized, wait, I could film a podcast as well. So because otherwise I would have started it and finished it without showing the whip a single time in the podcast, so I figured maybe I could film instead of finish it. So yes, the funny thing with the colors are that they are so low contrast that I couldn't see anything when I was knitting in the dark. Especially on the holidays, because as you may know, we did a road trip with my boyfriend in the van, and it's an old van, so yeah, the equipment, electrical, heat, all of that is pretty minimal or non-existent. So yeah, I had to do with what I had, which means not a lot of light, and it was actually pretty difficult to see because in the dark there is no difference between those two, and I just couldn't tell which one was which. And you have to do slip stitches on most of the rows, and I was like, which row am I on? Which color is this stitch? I couldn't see. So yeah, it was a little bit more difficult than necessary, but I don't have a single mistake, so I'm happy about that. I can show you the shoulder. Wow! The shoulder detail here that I absolutely love. So this is a contiguous shoulder construction, so you cast on for the neckline and then you knit flat for a little bit and then you join in around. When you knit flat you do increases for the shoulder here, then you join in around at the front neckline, and then you continue increasing for the body, and then you stop increasing for the body and you increase only for the sleeves, creating those nice sleeves here, and that's when the eye cords on the shoulder separate. Oh my god, it's beautiful! And there is also an eye cord and the underarm here. Yes, so I didn't do any modifications. I'm knitting size 2 on the recommended needle size, which is 4mm, and I added the optional German short row modification for the back neck to make the back wider. So my back, you cannot see it here, but my back is wider than my front. You don't need to do that, but it's in the pattern. What did I wanted to say? Yes! When I knitted the first time, I was writing the pattern up at the same time, and it kind of went really fast because I had to stop pretty often to do some stuff on the pattern, and it was like broken down in small pieces, so I didn't realize how long the yoke took. This was endless because you have a lot of stitches because the gauge is small, it's a fingering weight, and it's a slip stitch pattern, so the gauge is tight. And the rows go super slow because it's a slip stitch pattern. It's like brioche or mosaic knitting. It's almost as if you had to do each row twice. So it takes ages, but it's so worth it. I'm so happy. But I have to admit, I really had to push through to get done with the yoke because yeah, it was just taking so long. But as I expected, once you separate the sleeves and start working on the body, it goes so fast because suddenly you have a lot less stitches, of course, and I just zoom through the body. It went so fast. So yeah, I'm almost done now, so this is gonna be finished in the next episode, which I'm super excited about. And is that it? Oh no, I wanted to mention something about the neckline. The first one, I'm gonna go and grab it. Wow, hello! The first one has a different... I cannot talk if I hold this in my mouth. But yeah, had a different increase rate here. Here. So you can see the width of the center of the neckline is about this much. But I wanted it to be a little bit wider, so I modified it in the actual pattern. And it's wider here, so it goes to this. It's this wide. So the increase rate is a little bit different here. However, because of the way the sweater is constructed, I need a hanger. A hanger! Okay, ugliest hanger ever, but it's the first one I could find. So, because of the way the sweater is constructed, you cast on here, here, and until here. And then you start knitting flat. But you have those little blips coming out because you start increasing here for the neckline, but this is there. It's just how it is. I could have done it a little bit differently to avoid that, but it would have been a lot more complicated, and it's already quite difficult to keep track of what you're doing, so I decided this was a small loss or issue for a big win. So you have this, it's just how it is. But when you pick up for the neckline, you pick up along the edge here, and then here, here. So you have this bump showing up. And it's less visible with the old version. And also when you sew down the neckline, you can hide it. So it's a little bit visible, but not too much. But with the new version, it's gonna be more visible. So you will have to hide it even more when you sew down the stockinette neckline. So it's a little bit of an issue, because it's the type of thing, when you are doing the neckline, if you don't actively think about it, you're not gonna realize what's happening, and you're not gonna see that you have this guy coming out. And it's only when you finish it and you put it on and you're gonna be like, what's this? So I just need to put a note in the pattern, add something. I didn't realize this was an issue before I actually knit it, because I modified it after doing my own pattern, my own sample. So yes, I just have to do something about that. And I saw some testers have already added the neckline, and I could see it's a little bit poking in, a little bit more than you would want, so I just have to add this. Only thing that came up when I was knitting this guy. Otherwise, smooth sailing, great pattern, I think. Okay, my next work in progress is something I already had last time, but I didn't show it because it wasn't interesting. But this is... there is something inside, wait. Yarn! This is like a pouch or tablet cover thing, using the same stitch pattern as the melon I just showed you. Did I say the name? The Melon Sweater. And I just had leftover yarns in my stash that I didn't know what to do with them, so I decided to do something like this. I also did a hot water bottle cover, and right after I finished it, I started this one. So the plan is to have my tablet to go inside it. I need both hands. Ooh, it's a little bit snug, I will need a good block. It's okay, it was my plan all along, everything is under control. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to put on if it's like this all the time. So I'm almost done with it. As you can see, I have the very cute slip stitch pattern, and I have I-cords on the edge and underneath. So this is great. However, I ran out of the red, which I knew would happen. If you followed the latest episodes, you know what's happening. But I have enough of the black. But the red, I have more, but in a knitted up form, in this sweater, which is my Doppio sweater, the first one I did, using Nutiden again. This is Amanita, held double, and Nutiden is a little bit itchy, especially around the neck, so I wanted to do a turtleneck, which is not in the pattern, but I wanted to use something else for the inside of the turtleneck that would be against my throat. So I used this. The yarn, by the way, is Gilliatt by de Rerum Natura. The black is Fusain. It's not black, it's a very dark grey. And the red is Aubépine. And I held Aubépine double for this, but the gauge is not right. As you can see, this is very, very dense, and this is a lovely drapey fabric. So yeah, it's really not working. So I have to take this out. But I cannot bring myself to do it. I don't want to. For a lot of reasons. Because first, I don't know what to put here instead of this. I think I will simply do a folded over color as in the original pattern. But with what? I have more of the red. So I could knit another color using just Nutiden, but then it's gonna be itchy. And I don't have red yarn in this shade. And oh, that's not true. Wait. I have 3 leftovers in red. What I was thinking about is this one, but not gonna happen. I thought it was more red and less orange, but next to each other, this is very orange, so no. This is Explore Knits Heirloom, by the way. Then I have this one, but this one is a little bit itchy, so not gonna work. But that would be a closer match, but still a little bit too orange. This is BC Garn Bio Shetland in red. And the last one is this. This is cashmere, by Bad My Yarns, and that could work, I think. So, okay, I just took a decision. I'm gonna knit a folded over collar in 1x1 ribbing with this on the inside and then knitted in on the outside. It's usually what I do, actually. And I think it should work out to save the thing. But as I mentioned already, I did something pretty complicated and unnecessary when I knit it. I did the cast on using Gilliatt held double, and then I started knitting with the knitted end, because the cast on edge, when you pick it up, it kind of folds to the inside, and it's actually the part that will touch your throat the most. So I wanted the cast on edge to be in a soft yarn, because otherwise it would defeat the whole purpose of having something soft here if the ridge here is not soft. So I cannot just take out the the Gilliatt neckline here, because I'm gonna be left with a very tight and dense cast on edge here. So I think I have to take out the cast on edge, which is difficult because you start the short rows on the first round. It's a mess. And I'm just pushing it back because I don't want to do it. Because also, this sweater is also a fail, in my opinion, because it has a lot of issues, of gauge issues, because of the knitted end, and I had to knit the sleeves on magic loop, because it's using big needles and I didn't have big needles in small circulars. So you can see a lot of tension issues where I had the magic loop. It's hard to see, but I can show you a picture where you can tell it's doing wavy stuff like this, because the tension is a mess. All I can see is that. I could try to reblock it, but you really can tell some stitches are very tight and some are very loose. So I don't think I could really save it too much, but I should try. Anyway, I think I will take out the neckline, do the folded over with this, and then block it again and see, because this is all just hypothesis and suppositions, and I just I just don't have the brain space, I think, for taking these kind of decisions right now, but I need to do it. So that's the plan for very soon. Take out this, replace it, and finish this. I hope. Okay, last work in progress, which is also on hold because I need to take decisions, but I cannot take decisions. So, but I took a decision, almost, not completely. This, as you may remember, is the headband thing I knit using, again, Woolberry Fiber Company. This time it's Rambouillet DK base, but again in frost colorway, so the same color as the dress. And I wanted to knit two headbands and sew them together so that I would have a double-sided, two thickness, two layers headband. First, second side. But I don't want to sew them together because I don't like sewing and they have different gauges and it would just be complicated to know what to do. And yeah, what if I sew them together and one of them is too short? Or what if I sew them together and then I try it on and it's too big or too short? I just don't want to think about it. So, and I have way too much yarn left over. And yes, somebody suggested I could send it to them so that they could sew it for me, which I would love to do. But then the problem remains that what if they sew it together and it's too small or too big? I know it was a joke, but it was a very funny joke, so thank you. Anyway, my initial plan was to do a muscle bro, so the big long tube that you fold inside itself, but I don't have enough yarn for that. I only have one skein of DK weight. And I was kind of stuck on the idea that it was either a muscle bro hat or a headband. In the muscle bro, as you might know, it gives 2 layers for the crown and 4 layers over the ears. That's a lot of layers with one skein of DK weight, which is why you don't have enough. But there are other alternatives that you can do with a single skein, and I don't know why I didn't thought about them. And the best one would simply be to do something like the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. Second time I'm mentioning Petite Knit in an episode, even though I haven't mentioned her in 46 episodes. And the Oslo hat has 1 layer on the crown and 3 layers on the brim, which is totally doable with one skein. So why am I not doing that? I don't know. So what I will do is frog everything and knit an Oslo hat. However, I want to use all my yarn and I want the brim to be very wide because I like that. So I will knit it top down. So it's not going to be an Oslo hat anymore, it's just going to be a hat with 3 layers on the ears and 1 layer on the crown. And I also have the thing where I want to be able to fit my ponytail or my bun through the hat, but I already have a hat with a hole and it's a bit too high. So I need to do this hat with the hole slightly bigger so that I can also put my bun through it. And I need to do short rows to push the hole further down because my bun is usually around here and the tip of a crown is around here on the hat, so it's too high. So I need to add short rows. Somebody suggested that in the comments. Thank you. That's a nice idea, so I'm gonna do that. But then I have to figure out if I do the short rows in the crown during the increases or right after. I think I'm gonna have to do them in the crown. So do more increases on the top than on the bottom. But is it gonna look weird? Is it gonna fit? I don't know. That's complicated. And again, I don't have the brain space for that. Especially since I was on holiday. Since the last episode where I didn't know what to do with that. So in order, I'm gonna finish the melon tea. I'm gonna tackle this guy and rip back the color of the doppio. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish the dress, and once one of those is done, I will unravel this and cast on the hat and try out some stuff for the crown. Yes, so that's the immediate plans. Now, after that, I wanted to cast on, I took with me, I can show you, this bag. It's the redesigned project bag. It's not the biggest one that just came out, but it's the, I think project 10. I don't know, it's not written on it. But yeah, it's a chunky bag. And this is what I took with me on holidays, so that I could have all my knitting notions in one bag. So in here I have a pattern. I have some skeins of yarn. I have the one for the dress and the one for the melon here. I have my needles, so this is my big pouch, the chargu, and then I have the 2 smaller pouches for the small circulars. I have more yarn that I'm gonna talk about. I have my scale and more yarn and a pattern, and I have this, which is my actual notions pouch. So I have stuff in here like scissors, measuring tape, a bag, some... This is so cute! I have my needles in here. Oh, it's just so cute! I love it. I got all of this in Korea, by the way. You can buy those kind of pouches for super cheap in the streets. And then I have some markers and stuff, and I have needle stoppers. Can you see that? And other kind of stuff in here. And back here there is a zipper, and I have lots of try-on tubings, stitch holders, stuff like that. And in the middle of this bag there is a zipped pouch, and I keep my pens and rulers in there. And I also have those pouches here. I don't have anything in them, but I could put stuff. And pattern, and I think that's it. So yes, I took this with me for the travel, which was really nice. And as I mentioned, I have this in here. So this was to make a moonset tee that I wanted to cast on once I was finished with the dress or the melon sweater, whichever came first. Because as I mentioned, I came home early from my holidays. I left, I think it was 10 days, 2 weeks ago. And I was supposed to stay for 3 weeks, but we only stayed for 8 days. And I've been home actually since quite a while, since almost a week now. Because the weather was horrible. I'm gonna talk about that again later. So I couldn't cast on my last project because I'm home early. If I was filming this in April like I was supposed to, I would probably have cast on this project, but yeah, it didn't happen. Which means, first, I estimated pretty well the amount of knitting I was going to do on holidays, so that's a win. I'm pretty proud about that. And that's all. So, I decided to switch plans, because I've been knitting on a lot of fingering weight, small gauges stuff, and I just want to do something quicker. So, my plan, this is a t-shirt. I really need a t-shirt in my wardrobe, like really. I gave away a lot of my summer knitting t-shirts, summer knits t-shirts, top stuff, so I don't have a lot left, and I just don't have anything to put on. I don't have clothes. I need a t-shirt. But this is gonna be a little bit, this is gonna take a little bit too long to knit. So what I'm gonna do, I have bought a t-shirt quantity of linen yarn last year at the Swiss Yarn Festival, and I had planned to design the t-shirt. I actually have the swatch and everything, and it was a contiguous shoulder construction t-shirt with a exposed yarn over detail here, and yeah, I really loved it. It was a nice idea. But then a few months later, the designer Tori Yu from Tori Knits NYC released the exact same sweater, I mean t-shirts, I was envisioning, and I was like, oh perfect, I don't have to design it, I can just buy the pattern from her and knit hers. So that's great. But then it got pushed to the back burner because I had other more exciting things to do. So yeah, that didn't happen right away. But it's gonna be pretty fast because the name of the sweater is the Metropolitan Sweater, and the gauge is 16 stitches. That's way too big. I'm not gonna reach that. I can show you the yarn. It's Studio Linen by Erica Knight. It's recycled linen mixed with premium linen, and it doesn't look like much in the skin form, but I saw a swatch and wow, the fabric was incredible. And I bought 5 skeins to make a t-shirt with this yarn over detail on the contiguous shoulder construction thing, and the gauge is 21-22 stitches, so this is a true DK weight yarn. I haven't swatched with it, so I think I can push the gauge to maybe 20, maybe 19, but I don't want it to be see-through either, so I'm not gonna go too far. But I'm still far from the 16 stitches of the Metropolitan Sweater. However, I am confident in my ability to knit a bigger size and do the modifications needed to make it fit on me with a different gauge. So that's the plan. So I'm gonna have a t-shirt that is gonna be worked up a lot faster than the fingering weight moonset tee. So that's great. And this is coming up as soon as one of the other projects I talked about. And then this is done. So that's my plans. Alright, that's all for the knitting. Now I can do a little bit of talking about how my holidays went. So as I mentioned, it was supposed to be a road trip. It was a road trip, but it was supposed to be in Spain. However, the weather in Spain was awful. It was snowing, so no. We were going climbing, so as much as cool weather is great for climbing because then the rock is stickier and it's easier to climb, it's not funny to climb in the snow when you're supposed to be on holiday. You just don't want to be this cold. And when it's snowing, it's also wet, and yeah, just no. Especially since we were road tripping in the van, which is, as I mentioned, pretty old school, and we cannot have the heat on all the time because you use a bottle of gas thing, whatever, propane, you know what I mean. And yeah, if you keep the heating on for the whole day, then you're out of gas at the end of the day, so what's the point? Yeah, so we never made it to Spain, but we went to the south of France. We wanted to do a stop because we didn't want to do the whole road trip of 10 hours drive in one go, because in the old van it's pretty difficult. We don't have AC, and it's very noisy, and yeah, the seats are not the best. It's old. So we wanted to cut the road trip in half, so do 5 hours first to a climbing spot right above Montpellier in the south of France, and then climb the last 6 to 5 hours 2 days later, after we climbed 2 days in Montpellier. The climbing crag is called Claret, and it's a funny place because it's one of the first places in France where we reached the 8th grade. So the climbing grades work from 1, but from 3 to 9. 1 and 2 are like flat surface, so it's not really a climbing grade. So 8th grade is pretty hardcore, and it's not been so long since the humankind managed to climb this hard. So it was maybe in the 80s. So this crag was one of the first ones where there were 8 grades at all. So it's pretty old school. And what an old school crag means is that the equipment is pretty far away, which means if you fall from very high. It's usually not too dangerous because they are put in a way where if you fall in the void and you're not gonna slam yourself against the wall. So that's not dangerous, but it's very scary. So that was interesting. It was indeed very scary because, yeah, as much as you don't risk a lot, it's still you still don't want to take a 10 meters fall every time you miss a hold, right? So yeah, that was fun. We had a lot of fun there. But when we arrived, it was raining. It has been raining for the whole day, and there was a huge storm during the night, the first night, and the van started to take water from everywhere. Everything was wet and humid, and yeah, it was awful, and it was super cold. And we were like, the cliff is never gonna be dry tomorrow. Even if there is sunlight, there is so much water. It's raining so bad. There even was hailstorm. So we weren't really sure we would be able to climb. But the next day we showed up at around, I think, 11 or 12. The sun had been shining for the whole morning, and it was dry. The wall was mostly dry. It was still dripping water at some places, and we couldn't climb everywhere, but most of the wall was dry, which was pretty impressive. And funnily enough, there were a lot of people there, a lot of local climbers, because they know even if there is a heavy rain one night, the next day it's gonna be dry, because they are locals, so they know. So it was pretty funny, and we met a lot of funny people there. Yeah, we had a great time. But then we checked on the weather apps again, and it was gonna be raining again for the next 2 weeks where we were at, so we decided to move, not to Spain because it was snowing, but we moved to Provence, near Aix-en-Provence, a little bit above. I'm gonna show a map. We moved to here, where the weather was a little bit better, but still, it was kind of up and down because it was very sunny for the morning and then it started raining in the afternoon. And it's okay if it's a little bit of rain because we were in a crag where it was overhanging, so we were shielded from the rain by the wall in itself, so we weren't really wet and the wall was dry, so it was fine for climbing, but it wasn't the best conditions either. And at night it got super cold, down to freezing temperatures, and it was very humid because rain. And again, it's difficult in those conditions where you're living in a van for a whole week. So yeah, not the best. So we decided to go home after a week, but we still managed to climb 5 days. On the 7th we were in France, so that's an excellent thing. We're pretty happy about that, and it was really great climbing days. We had a lot of fun. It was just great. Super holidays. I'm so happy. And we decided to come home because it was gonna rain heavily for the next few days in France. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, big sunshine, hot weather, and perfect conditions, and we were like, there is no point in trying to climb here in the south of France. Generally, the south of the Alps was wet and cold, whereas the north of the Alps, where Switzerland is, was hot and sunny. So let's just go home and take advantage of the weather at home. Which is why we came home last week. I think we did the driving home on Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't remember, whatever. I came home last week. So we just chilled for a few days, resting from all the climbing and the driving we did. I knit a lot on the Melon Sweater, and now what's coming up that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise is that in 2 days, yes, on Thursday, today is Tuesday, there is a climbing competition at my local gym, and it's a different kind of competition as usual. Usually it's like on a set day there is the qualifying session, so you have like 30 boulders in the gym and you have to climb the more you can, and the more boulders you climb, the more points you get, and the 6 best people in women and men category get to the finals. But this time it's a little bit different. The qualifications last for a whole month, and every week on Monday and Thursday you have new boulders and you have to climb the more boulders you can and you get points, and at the end of the month the 6 best women and men that have climbed the most boulders during the whole month get to the finals. But I was on holiday. I was supposed to be on holidays and we were coming home. We were supposed to come home on Thursday, so the day of the finals, and there was just no chance I could climb enough boulders in one day to get back to the level of people that have been climbing for the whole month a few times a week. So the good news is that since we came home early, I could go to the climbing gym to kind of catch up on the boulders I hadn't been doing. However, the previous years it was pretty easy for me to get in the finals because there weren't a lot of strong women qualified, because they just weren't there. I know one of them had a meeting at work and the other one had a course for something, another one just wasn't there, and yeah, stuff happened for every strong women in the gym, so they just weren't there. But this time it's not like that at all. There are a lot of strong women trying to compete for qualifying, and it's gonna be pretty difficult, so I'm really not sure I can make it into the finals. But I'm gonna try my best. I went climbing yesterday and yeah, I still have a lot of boulders to catch up on, so I'm gonna go back tonight and see how well I can climb and see if I can maybe make it into the finals on Thursday. Right now I'm on 8th rank, but I have to be in the top 6, so we will see if this is enough or not to go in the finals. We shall see. You will have the news in the next episode, which is gonna come, I don't know, probably at the end of next... No, that's not true. Coming up, I have been plotting a new seasonal planning video, which is the spring knitting video. I love to do those. I really love it. I did the fall knitting plans and the winter knitting plans and I really enjoyed them. And now I'm planning the spring knitting plans, so this is coming next week. I have already spoke a little bit about my plans here, but there's gonna be much more in that, so stay tuned. And then I'm gonna do the next podcast probably in 2 weeks. We shall see. So I'm gonna go eat some lunch, get ready for tonight's climbing session. I need to eat something healthy if I want to be efficient tonight. But yeah, we will see what I do. Hi, editing Maya. I forgot to tell you one thing, and while I'm here, I might as well report on yesterday's climbing session because today is the next day. And I am happy to report that I am sixth in the ranking, so I should be in the finals. I don't think anyone's gonna go climb today and do more points than me, because most people that are planning to go to the finals are resting today, so I don't think I'm gonna lose my spot. However, tomorrow, before the finals, there are a few more boulders that will be coming up, so I need to go to do well on that as well. Otherwise, I would get kicked off the 6th place. But we will see. I think it should be okay. Anyway, for the knitting, I forgot to tell you something important, which is next week, next Friday, on the 4th, 5th, 6th of April, there is a Swiss Yarn Festival. I talked about it earlier, and it's happening again this year on next weekend, and I will be there on Friday. Usually, I mean, every precedent years it has been 2 days. It had taken place during 2 days, but this year for the first time it's 3 days, and it's good for me because I can go on Fridays and there will be less people and all the yarns should still be in stock, because the previous years I was going on Saturdays and it was very crowded and difficult to navigate, but I didn't want to go on Sundays because otherwise a lot of yarns would be out of stock. So Friday is excellent, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I have some shopping plans, mainly for the spring knitting plans video that will be coming up. So I don't know if I'm gonna film the video before or after the festival. I don't know, we shall see. But anyway, this is coming up and I will talk about it in the next podcast as well. Yes. So I'll let you go back to present Maya. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm pretty happy. I'm happy I came home early so that I could film because I have so much to talk about and I just love talking about knitting. And I also happy I'm managing to take it slowly because one pitfall I could have fallen into is to start working again immediately as I came home, like writing up a new pattern and stuff like that. But I'm managing to take it slowly, knit, chill, do house stuff, so that's good. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling really good right now. So I hope it lasts. If you are new here and you want to see more of this type of content, of course you can subscribe, and thank you so much for your supports, for your comments, for your likes, for everything. I'm just so happy you're here, and I think that's it. So thank you, I hope to see you next time, and until then, happy knitting!